Tonight on NewsWatch, abortionist on trial. He's accused of running a house of horrors. So why isn't the media running more stories?
Plus, support for same-sex marriage as different countries move to legalize it. A new poll shows more Americans approve.
And a CBN News exclusive. Our David Brody sits down at home with Rand Paul and his family. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening. I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. It's the most sensational murder trial you may know nothing about because it's getting almost no media coverage.
Yeah, the crimes took place in an abortion clinic in Philadelphia, and almost all of the victims in this case are unborn babies. Gary Lane has tonight's top story.
Dr. Kermit Gosnell is charged with killing a woman patient and 7 babies allegedly born alive at his abortion clinic in inner-city Philadelphia. Gosnell could face the death penalty. 8 former employees have already pleaded guilty, some to third-degree murder. They've testified about the bizarre and often chaotic practices at the clinic, including some of the horrible things they saw. One said she saw aborted babies move at least twice. Another said she snipped the spines of at least 10 babies. And another said she thought one baby could have lived if it had not been aborted. She cried as she said she thought he was at least 30 weeks, around 7.5 months along. Gosnell himself later joked the baby was so big he could have walked to the bus stop. Gosnell's lawyer disputes that any babies were born alive, and his former lawyer, Bill Brennan, says the trial will take some time.
Between death penalty, length of service, and the abortion issue, and when you factor that in, I mean, it got international attention when it broke. It's going to be a long, difficult process.
Although the Associated Press has reported on the trial, it has received virtually no national media coverage. That's led some conservatives and at least one liberal to criticize the media for ignoring the case. Liberal analyst Kirsten Powers wrote in USA Today Thursday, "Let me state the obvious. This should be front-page news. You don't have to oppose abortion rights to find late-term abortion abhorrent or to find the Gosnell trial eminently newsworthy. The deafening silence of too much of the media, once a force for justice in America, is a disgrace." Gary Lane, CBN News.
Joining us now via Skype is Dan Gaynor. He's the Vice President of Business and Culture for the Media Research Center. Dan, why isn't this story getting more attention in the mainstream media?
Well, because most journalists don't want to cover it. Flat out, that's the issue. They don't want to cover something that makes the abortion industry that has killed 50 million American children since Roe v. Wade. They don't want to make it look bad. And the Gosnell case has the ability to do to the abortion industry what the left is trying to make Newtown do to the gun industry, trying to use it as an emotional moment that is a game changer.
Yeah, I've noticed, though, a big push on social media sites like Twitter and Facebook, people trying to get this story out. Is that impacting coverage at all?
It finally is. Reports are that Jake Tapper, who's already one of the best reporters out there on any one of the news channels, it looks like he's going to do something on his show today. And I would say that's entirely driven by Twitter. Jake is very knowledgeable on social media, and that's good to see.
Yeah, it sure is. Now, why is it important, Dan, for stories like this to get more attention?
I mean, this is every nightmare you could ever conceive of. I mean, the closest doctor I could compare this to is Dr. Mengele. I mean, you look at the anecdotal information from this story. He's the doctor in this case. Dr. Gosnell has been charged with 8 murders, 7 of them babies that were killed apparently by scissors snipping them at their spine and basically decapitating them. The stories that came out of this trial. A child being born, being put on a shelf, screaming before it was killed. Oh. And it's so ghoulish that I think it was Dana Lash who was tweeting from the charging documents last night on Twitter, and she said you can't keep reading this. This is the kind of information will stick with you for the rest of your life, and ordinarily, this would be, I mean, any case, whether it's Casey Anthony or Jodi Arias or any any one of these other high-profile crime cases, the media would be all over it. The local media, the Philadelphia media, has been all over it. It's not like they're not covering it.
Yeah.
But major outlets are not picking it up.
Really amazing that they're not. But we appreciate you getting the word out, Dan, and we'll do our best here at CBN. Dan Gaynor, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. God bless.
Support for abortion is dropping across the country. A new NBC News Wall Street Journal survey finds that 52% of Americans say that abortion should be illegal. Some of those people say there do need to be exceptions, but 45% say the procedure should always be illegal. This is a change from just months ago. A similar survey from January found the majority of Americans said abortion should be legal in some form. And while approval of abortion may be dropping, support for gay marriage is on the rise. That same survey finds 53% say gay couples should be able to marry. That's up from 2 points from a December survey. For more on these important social issues facing the country, we turn now to Quinn Hillier. He's a senior fellow at the Center for Individual Freedom. He joins us now from our Washington bureau. Quinn, let's begin with this new poll about gay marriage. A majority of Americans now say they support legalizing it. What's behind the shift?
Well, you've got more and more young people who are brought up in a new world where the differences between the sexes is minimized, where they're taught that there are almost no differences between the sexes, where they're taught that there's really almost no link between sexual activity and child rearing, where they're taught all sorts of other things that diminish their appreciation for what marriage has been for millennia, for several millennia of human history. And so they start to think of marriage as just being about A, sexual activity, and B, feeling good with somebody at a particular point, rather than seeing it as a lifelong commitment to create a stable family. Right now, the media doesn't even show what a real family is anymore, and so it's a problem. It really is a problem for those who believe in traditional marriage.
A few weeks ago, the Supreme Court heard arguments against California's Prop 8 and the Defense of Marriage Act. A decision is expected this summer. How do you think that's going to play out?
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a big muddle. I think, okay, you've got two different cases and two different aspects of the homosexual marriage debate. And you've got several different factions on the court wanting to try to, sort of split the difference, split the baby, as it were, pun unfortunately intended. And I think you're going to get one of these or a pair of decisions that have all kinds of permutations and that don't really clarify a lot for most of the people in the country.
The same poll we mentioned earlier finds more Americans are changing their minds about supporting abortion. Are pro-life advocates finally starting to win their fight?
I think there are, and there are indications in states across the nation at the state level of more pro-life legislation passing. 4 states recently, I think it was Alabama, I think Virginia, North Dakota, and Arkansas have all had more pro-life legislation passed recently. And I think this shows young people are not averse to arguments about right and wrong. It's just that in some cases, it's not clear to them what right and wrong is, but they like the idea of doing that which is morally right, and they're starting to see just how horrible abortion is, especially when you see cases like this Gosnell case.
Okay, Quinn Hillier, as always, thanks for your insights.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
The French Senate has passed a bill legalizing same-sex marriage. President Francois Hollande pushed the legislation forward after vowing to do so last year on the campaign trail. The bill would allow gay marriage and let same-sex couples adopt children. Both houses of parliament will now consider changes to the bill passed in February by the National Assembly. Nearly a dozen mostly European nations already allow gay marriage. And Uruguay is now the 3rd country in the Americas to legalize gay marriage. 71 out of 92 members of the county's Chamber of Deputies voted in favor of the measure. It's called the Marriage Equality Project. One provision of the law will allow gay couples to come to the South American country just to marry. Uruguay's president is expected to put it into effect within 10 days. Canada and Argentina are the only other two countries in the Americas where gay marriage is legal.
The Washington State Attorney General is suing a florist for refusing to provide flowers for a gay wedding. Baronelle Stutzman owns Arlene's Flowers in Richland. She objected to selling a gay customer flowers for his same-sex wedding because of her Christian faith. The state attorney general filed a consumer protection suit against Stutzman. He argues she discriminated against the customer based on his sexual orientation. Stutzman's attorney says the case is not about discrimination, but freedom of speech and religion.
A former substitute teacher in New Jersey says he was fired for giving a student a Bible. Walt Tutka is suing the Phillipsburg School District. His complaint with the Equal Employment Commission argues officials fired him on religious grounds. Tutka says he gave the student his Bible after that student asked him about a Bible verse that he quoted.
Coming up, threats of war from North Korea. What Secretary of State John Kerry has to say.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
Your dryer runs forever, and your clothes still come out damp? Now you can speed up your dryer by up to 15 minutes. Introducing the Lint Lizard. It's like a magic wand that cleans deep into any dryer. The flexible Lint Lizard attaches right to any vacuum hose. Look how much lint we got out of this dryer. All this lint that escapes past your lint screen. Yuck! A clogged dryer works harder. All that lint can even burn out your motor. Or worse, it can start a dangerous vent fire. It's a full 40 inches long and cleans deep into your vent system, grabbing all the packed-in lint that's choking your dryer. After a quick cleaning with the Lint Lizard, your dryer vent is clear, making it work less and run more efficiently. Old-fashioned lint brushes pull out some lint, and the lint gets everywhere. The Lint Lizard cleans deeper and sends the lint right into your vac bag. Vacuuming between machines and under appliances is a snap. Take it outdoors to vac your outside vent. So before you spend a fortune on costly repairs, order your Lint Lizard for just $10.99. Call right now and you can double your order. And that's not all. We'll also include the Dust Lizard. It attaches to any vac and adjusts to any position. The Dust Lizard goes where no other attachment can. Clean delicate electronics, tedious air vents, tiny tile crevices, crumbs from corners, dirt from slider tracks, places you could never vacuum before, even expensive sculptures and intricate chandeliers. Plus, the Lint Lizard comes with a money-back guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied, return them and keep the Dust Lizard. You get it all, 2 Lint Lizards and the Dust Lizard for $10.99. Call now and find out about free shipping.
Call 1-800-373-2150 and get your Lint Lizard. But call now and you can get a special offer on a second Lint Lizard and the Dust Lizard with your order. So call 1-800-373-2150 and find out about free shipping. That's 1-800-373-2150. Call now.
Questions remain about North Korea's nuclear capabilities and if they will attempt a missile launch soon. Secretary of State John Kerry arrived in the region today.
He's trying to ease tensions between North and South Korea after the release of a new intelligence report. It concludes that the North could probably equip a long-range missile with a nuclear bomb. Secretary of State John Kerry arrived in Seoul, saying people in North Korea are desperate for food, not missile launches. He reminded the leader of the North, Kim Jong-un, that the U.S. would defend its allies if needed.
North Korea will not be accepted as a nuclear power.
The Pentagon is trying to downplay a Defense Intelligence Agency report that said with moderate confidence. The North currently has nuclear weapons capable of delivery by ballistic missiles. That report was mistakenly declassified.
General, would you agree with that assessment by DIA?
I can't touch that one.
Kerry minimized the idea that North Korea was currently ready to use nuclear weapons.
It is inaccurate to suggest that the DPRK has fully tested, developed, or demonstrated capabilities that are articulated in that report. Does it get you closer to a line that is more dangerous? Yes.
President Obama made rare remarks about the tension with North Korea. He called on the North to calm down its rhetoric, even as the U.S. is moving warships and sophisticated radar into the region in anticipation of a launch.
Now's the time for North Korea to end the kind of belligerent approach that they've been taking and to try to lower temperatures.
Secretary Kerry says the U.S. would welcome six-party talks. That matches one of the biggest developments in South Korea, as President Park indicated she's now willing to talk to the North. Meanwhile, a spokesman for China's foreign ministry says China is willing to work with the U.S. and other members of the six-nation discussions on the nuclear disarmament of the North. In 2009, Pyongyang walked out of the talks, which included South Korea, the U.S., China, Russia, and Japan. Officials in Seoul and Washington say North Korea appears to be preparing to test fire a medium-range missile designed to reach Guam.
In other news, the Internal Revenue Service is using its computers to track the online activities of Americans as it tries to find tax cheaters. The IRS has massively upgraded its computing power in recent years, and U.S. News and World Report says the tax agency is putting together a huge amount of personal information on taxpayers, from eBay auctions to Facebook posts, credit card and electronic payments, individual internet addresses, emailing patterns, and more. The IRS can then compare the information they gather with people's tax returns. But the potential surveillance has some people worried. One tax law expert from Yale tells U.S. News, "I am sure people will be concerned about the use of personal information on databases in government, and those concerns are well taken. There should be safeguards." You can find all the information on this story by going to our website at cbnnews.com.
Up next, from the now infamous filibuster to family, David Brody's conversation with Senator Rand Paul.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison and shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
Welcome back. Could Republican Senator Rand Paul be the next president of the United States?
You don't know. He is showing signs of running in 2016, but he's not your traditional Republican candidate.
David Brody traveled to Paul's family home in Kentucky to bring us tonight's Focus Report.
You see any movement in the nest?
Rand Paul is keeping an eye on the bald eagles near his home in Kentucky, but the eyes of the nation are on him.
I will speak until I can no longer speak.
Last month's historic 13-hour filibuster on the Senate floor about the president's policy on drones got everybody's attention, even his son.
I was at lunch and I was on Twitter on my phone and I saw something about it and wasn't really that surprised.
You're like, what's Dad up to?
Yeah.
But nobody should have been surprised by the senator's ability to filibuster, especially on the subject of drone attacks.
My wife will tell you I can drone on and on and on.
He's also droning on about the current state of the Republican Party.
The GOP of old has grown stale and moss-covered.
I think Rand Paul has an attitude that we haven't seen in Washington for a very, very long time.
Rand Paul can't be put in a tiny little box. For example, he differs from the traditional GOP position on war.
Part of Republicans' problems, and frankly, to tell you the truth, some in the evangelical Christian movement, I think have appeared too eager for war.
But on financial matters, Paul takes a solid conservative line against Washington's huge budget deficits and overspending.
When people come to me, they say, well, you sound like you're against all government. And I say, well, no, I'm for $2.6 trillion worth of government. That's a lot of government. That's what comes in. I'm for spending what comes in and not borrowing.
And another layer. Paul mixes his libertarian views with his Christian faith, like on marriage.
Marriage has always been a state issue. I think if you make it a federal issue, we're going to lose every state then, because I think the push is going in the opposite direction in many states.
But unlike some libertarians, Paul is not for the legalization of drugs, though he does believe that some drug sentences are too harsh. He is firmly pro-life and supports prayer in local schools.
And I think people do misinterpret the First Amendment. They think the First Amendment was somehow to say that your local school would never have a prayer in it, and I think that's wrong.
Paul is a deep thinker, his politics influenced by Austrian free market economist Friedrich von Hayek and Ayn Rand, who is considered anti-God. But ultimately, his libertarian conservative views filter through a biblical lens. He became a Christian when he was a teenager.
Yes, I do have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ.
But he tells me that much like his father, he doesn't wear it on his sleeve.
Mine has never been one that I felt like it was going to be my role to convert people.
But that doesn't mean he shies away from speaking boldly about the spiritual condition of America.
It needs a resurgence through churches, through revivals, through a spiritual cleansing of the people. It's not a politician that's going to save the country. You know, it's not any preacher who's going to save the country. It's people finding salvation. But people need to realize that that's not in politics.
His wife Kelly is like-minded. The Pauls are regular members of their Methodist church, and she relies deeply on her faith.
Anything can happen any day, any moment. You can lose everything except for your soul and your relationship with God. It is the only permanent thing.
Being a U.S. Senator may not be a permanent thing for Rand Paul. He'll be in New Hampshire and Iowa in the next couple months, fueling speculation that a presidential run is just around the corner.
What are some of the thoughts going through your mind in terms of how you're going to arrive at that process or at that decision?
I have to ask my wife.
Well, let's get her back. Can we get the chair?
So we did. What does the cautious-minded Kelly Paul think?
I mean, if I were spinning out, imagining what we're going to be doing exactly 2 years from now, I think I would probably not be on board.
Good to see you.
So for now, Rand Paul is content to just cruise through the McDonald's drive-thru and hit the road around America, preaching his Tea Party message to anyone who will listen. Because at his core, he's just an eye doctor from Bowling Green who thinks he just may have the right prescription for America.
Revive us again.
Amen. What about Senator Paul?
David Brody, CBN News, in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Good writing, David. Well, for more with Rand Paul and political coverage you won't find anywhere else, check out David's blog, The Brody File. You can find that on our website, cbnnews.com.
Up next, a dream come true for some of cancer's smallest victims.
Ow, my feet hurt. My feet hurt, your feet hurt. White hot pain, I wanna cry. Is there anything I can try?
Why, yes! Introducing Strut Soul Angels, the human shock absorber that helps alleviate foot pain.
The first 10 steps in the morning to the bathroom were excruciating. Within 3 days after I put Struts on, it's been such a relief.
Slipped it on and almost immediately I felt a support, kind of like a pillow underneath my arches.
The Struts Soul Angel provides a great amount of relief and support throughout the course of the day, providing shock absorption and relief of pain.
On your feet without proper support can be painful. Strut Soul Angels promotes better balance, control, and body alignment. Standing in your heels all day is painful, but slip on Struts and you'll enjoy comfort and support 24/7. Struts is so versatile, you'll wear them in every shoe you own, even barefoot.
I'm on my feet all the time. I teach 11 and 12-year-olds. The pain was so much that I knew I had to do something. And with the Struts, I can do my job and enjoy my job.
I usually am on my feet from 8 to 12 hours a day. When I wear my Struts, it's like giving my feet a hug all day.
It's life-changing. I wear them from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed.
Why pay $400 for custom orthotics?
Now get Strut Soul Angels for just $10. You also get Miracle Foot Repair Cream, absolutely free. Use it to help relieve dry, calloused feet overnight. But wait, call right now and we'll double the offer free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Plus, you get a 100% money-back guarantee. If not completely delighted, send it back. But keep the foot cream as our gift just for trying. You get it all. A $70 value for just $10.
Oh, yes! Love my Struts, love my Struts. The best thing since sliced bread. They heal pain from toes to head. Get yours now, your doctor said.
Struts, be nice to your feet. Call now.
Call 1-800-787-1580 and get your Struts and Miracle Foot Repair for just $10 and we'll double the offer. That's 1-800-787-1580 or visit getstruts.com.
Imagine lace, frills, tiaras, and jewelry, stuff that little girls dream about. I hope you don't dream about that stuff.
No, I don't, but my daughter does.
Right.
A cancer hospital is making wishes come true for some of its smallest patients.
We see parents in tears. We see so much excitement. Yeah. We see girls twirl in front of the three-way mirror. We've had them say, "I feel so beautiful."
It's great. Still breaks your heart, though, to see him. A volunteer group in Indiana has joined forces with the Riley Hospital for Children to host a prom for sick kids. Local groups donated everything these little girls need to feel like princesses. It's the 4th year running, and this year the theme is Under the Sea.
They kind of are going through a lot, like I am, like treatment, chemo, all that stuff, and so it's kind of important because then they get something to look forward to in their life.
It's nice to not think about other stuff and have a day to ourselves.
Yeah, bless their hearts. Organizers expect nearly 150 patients and their families to attend.
Oh, Mark, that just touches your
Yeah,
heart so much to see those little princesses. And
I know.
God bless them. They deserve it.
Yes, they
Well, that's
do.
going to do it for us.
Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.